fan. I like Daniel Dubois. Because I like him, just because I like him, doesn't mean I can't give you an unbiased professional opinion, because, in my opinion, he ain't going to beat.
Fabio taking this as a first defence. It's either very canny because he thinks potentially in the back of his mind that Daniel Dubois is damaged and vanquished, and in a position of potential weakness and slightly diminished.
And that's Daniel Dubois. It's not because he wanted the most dangerous fight. Fabio's got a pair of plums, huge. Everyone knows this. I tried to articulate that the best I can. Sorry for the listeners, but you've gone for the biggest bag, and that's Daniel.
I think it's 50-50, and this isn't fencing, because I 51-49 Fabio. Fabio can crack, unlike any heavyweight I think right now in the division, but he takes a lot of punishment. Like, we've seen it, and I don't think you can take that type of punishment early from Dubois, but it's a tremendous thing.
Yes, I think it's going to be a fantastic fight. I think Fabio's going to do what he normally does and rise to the occasion, and he's going to stop Daniel Dubois, and I think it may even be...
Boxing Pros RIP into Daniel Dubois versus Fabio Wardley fight as the backlash grows louder around Daniel Dubois. Analysts are questioning why he's taking this risk against the unpredictable and explosive Fabio Wardley. Many believe Dubois hasn't fully rebuilt mentally, and stepping in with a heavy puncher like Wardley could expose those cracks again.
Wardley's got a good jab. And if Wardley's jab has improved since winning that title, then it's a battle of the jabs. And as you know, in heavyweight boxing, unlike any other weight division, you're one punch from victory, one punch from disaster. So it's not a question of the first one to land, because Dubois, there isn't enough left.
Adam Smith makes it absolutely clear that we already know what Fabio Wardley is capable of, and that statement alone raises serious concerns for Daniel Dubois. Wardley's unbeaten record, his proven power, and what he did to Joe Parker are being used as evidence that Dubois may be stepping into a fight he is not psychologically or tactically prepared for. Across the board, professionals are questioning Dubois' judgment, suggesting this is less a bold move and more a reckless gamble against a puncher who thrives in chaos.
We know what Fabio Wardley can do. Justice Hooney's done it to Joe Parker. He's never been beaten, and he's got that power. So, wow, bring it on.
Daniel Dubois' former trainer issues a serious warning, highlighting that Fabio Wardley is most dangerous when hurt, drawing comparisons to Nigel Benn's relentless mentality. That observation alone raises doubts about Dubois' composure under pressure. If Wardley thrives in chaos and adversity, then Dubois stepping into that environment looks less calculated and more like a tactical misjudgment.
Fabio Wardley would be a great fight, but it is not, look at what he did to Parker. But Parker went in there trying to knock him out. I don't think that's the plan. I think, you can't, like, Fabio's been hurt and he looks hurt many times in his career, but he's always like, he's got that Nigel Benn, he's at his most dangerous when he's on rocky legs. So yeah, you just got to stay disciplined and keep.
Duke McKenzie highlights just how unorthodox and unpredictable Fabio Wardley truly is, describing punches flying from every possible angle. That unpredictability is precisely what makes this dangerous for Daniel Dubois. If Dubois stands static in front of him, as critics suggest he often does, he risks being overwhelmed by sheer volume and chaos rather than controlled technique.
Dubois is going to be picking up more than his fair share, because Daniel Dubois doesn't move enough. There's not enough lateral movement from Daniel Dubois, from the top half of his body. He doesn't feint shots, he doesn't slip shots.
Simon Jordan acknowledges that Daniel Dubois divides opinion, and that division is telling. While some still believe he can reach the top again, a growing number question his mental resilience when adversity strikes. Against a confident and proven puncher like Fabio Wardley, that psychological uncertainty could become a decisive weakness.
Because ultimately there's so many people that believe that Daniel Dubois can be another world champion again, but there's a section of the audience that thinks that maybe Daniel doesn't have the mental switch to deal with the real adversity when it comes on top. But what they both can do is they can punch. And what you're going to see is a real fight. And
Fabio Wardley sounds supremely confident, insisting he is sharp and dangerous at every stage of the fight. That composure contrasts sharply with the doubts surrounding Daniel Dubois. When one fighter projects certainty and the other faces persistent scrutiny over durability and mindset, professionals inevitably question whether Dubois is stepping into a battle he cannot fully control.
Because I'm just as sharp, I'm just as quick, I'm just as powerful in them early stages as well, or as proven in other fights in the later rounds as well. So I'm not worried about either early, late, the middle of the fight, or whichever else. Like, I know he's dangerous throughout. He's strong, tough, can hit hard, but there's no particular singular stage on one.
Ade Oladipo frames it as 50-50 but subtly leans toward Fabio Wardley, and that says everything about the current perception of Daniel Dubois. Wardley's raw power is being described as elite, yet concerns remain about the punishment he absorbs. However, the real warning lies in what he did to Frazer Clarke, a level of damage rarely seen in the heavyweight division. If Wardley lands clean, Dubois could be facing far more than just a competitive contest. He could be walking into a physically brutal and reputationally damaging night.
The Justice Huni fight is dangerous until the final second. Whereas I feel maybe with Dubois, maybe the energy starts to sap after the first 6. I think we know now. And look what Wardley done to Frazer Clarke's face. I've never seen something so scary in the heavyweight division. Again, ringside to see it. And you can still see the dent in Frazer Clarke's side of his face. So Wardley for me. That punch power comes from
Paulie Malignaggi questions the decision-making of Daniel Dubois, particularly in high-pressure moments. Referencing the knockout loss to Alexander Usyk, he highlights Dubois' detached reaction afterward, subtly implying a psychological disconnect. Against a dangerous puncher like Fabio Wardley, that perceived emotional flatness becomes a serious talking point. Elite heavyweight contests are not won on physical strength alone. They demand resilience and composure. Professionals are clearly questioning whether Dubois possesses that mental edge when the stakes intensify.
I would have maybe took one in between, especially a puncher like Wardley. Dubois is a strange one to me, though, you know, because if you look at even in the Usyk knockout, I observed something in the Usyk knockout in the rematch. You see Usyk celebrating a center ring. It was a magical moment for him. He celebrates in the ring. Yeah. Dubois just gets up and walks right past him.
Paul Smith raises a critical concern about Daniel Dubois in the later rounds. He suggests that when fights become grueling and momentum shifts, Dubois has shown signs of retreat rather than resistance. In a potential war with Fabio Wardley, that pattern could prove decisive. Championship-level heavyweights are expected to embrace adversity, not edge away from it. If this bout stretches into deep waters, the spotlight will firmly land on Dubois' stamina, resolve, and willingness to endure sustained pressure.
In my opinion, if the fight goes late, yes. If the fight gets past 6-7 rounds and it's a war and it's a tough fight, I think when things start getting tough and difficult late and he starts to tire late and the fight gets up, then I think I've seen him take a little step back or look for a while. And that to me is probably symbolism of what's been happening in the past. When
Spencer Oliver makes it clear that this is fundamentally about mindset, not muscle. When discussing Daniel Dubois, the recurring theme is psychological preparation rather than physical capability. Dubois has always had size and power, but questions persist about belief and inner conviction. Against a confident and aggressive operator like Fabio Wardley, mental hesitation could be costly. If Dubois' team cannot solidify that self-belief, professionals fear this contest may once again expose vulnerabilities that extend far beyond technical skill.
And it's all about mindset. Dom recognises that it's not about the physicalities with Daniel Dubois. Never has been. You know, he's a big, strong guy, and like if you get his mind right and he's that self-belief there, and that's what Dom will be working on with him.
His mind's right. There's not many that should beat him ever.
No.
Counterpunch Boxing emphasizes that the new champion Fabio Wardley must now validate his title reign, and that means facing someone with proven championship pedigree like Daniel Dubois. There is growing curiosity about whether Wardley will accept the call-out, especially since holding the belt brings both prestige and commercial pressure. Analysts believe Wardley is in a position where being wanted increases his market value and negotiating leverage. A victory over Dubois would not only strengthen his legitimacy, but also elevate his financial prospects.
I wonder if Fabio Wardley is going to fall for that call-out, because one thing about Fabio, he just got the belt. He just got the belt, and he wants to prove that he's a legitimate champion, and I think doing so is to beat another one that was a legitimate champion, Daniel Dubois. But what does it mean for Fabio Wardley to be wanted, right? To be sought after? I think it's an opportunity for Fabio Wardley to make some serious cash.
Spencer Oliver believes that Daniel Dubois is the kind of fighter who does not want a gradual confidence rebuilding process after defeat. Instead, Dubois appears psychologically prepared to jump straight back into elite competition. That mentality can be admired as fearless ambition, but experts are divided on whether it is strategically wise. Facing Fabio Wardley immediately could expose Dubois to another high-intensity firefight. The matchup is considered extremely even, with Wardley slightly favored due to momentum, while Dubois retains devastating knockout power. Many observers believe this is one of the rare heavyweight fights where either man can finish the contest with one clean shot, making prediction extremely difficult and increasing public excitement.
Some fighters need a confidence builder, because it's a psychological battle as well as a physical one. He's not wide that way. So Daniel Dubois, boom, he will have forgot about that last defeat. He'll want to go straight back in there, fight for titles. It's the perfect fight for Daniel, and also the perfect fight for Fabio, because you look at this and you go, it's one of those fights you can see both guys winning. Yeah, Fabio will start marginally favourite, but Daniel Dubois hits as hard as any heavyweight.
Johnny Fisher highlights the warrior mentality and resilience associated with Daniel Dubois, particularly his ability to fight back when appearing hurt. That attribute makes Dubois dangerous, but also raises tactical concerns because relying on comeback aggression can be risky against an explosive puncher like Fabio Wardley. While Dubois is respected as a strong technician with serious knockout ability, questions remain about whether mental toughness alone can compensate for defensive vulnerabilities. Sparring history suggests Dubois possesses genuine fighting spirit, yet professional analysts warn that heart and courage must be paired with strategic discipline. In a contest between two heavy hitters, technical patience could decide whether Dubois survives early pressure or falls victim to Wardley's relentless offense.
He's everything that we see that he is, a warrior. His mental toughness and the ability to come from looking like you're in trouble to just swinging it out and getting someone out of there. So he's also a
Daniel Dubois wants to drag Fabio Wardley into deep waters and test his endurance under sustained pressure. That statement reflects Dubois' confidence in his own power, but professionals see it as a risky tactical approach. Asking Wardley to bring the heat suggests Dubois is prepared for a firefight rather than a technical chess match. However, if the fight follows that pattern, it could favor Wardley, who is widely regarded as comfortable in chaotic exchanges. Critics argue that relying on survival testing rather than defensive structure may expose Dubois early. The uncertainty remains whether Dubois can execute this game plan against a relentless puncher while maintaining discipline, or whether the intensity of Wardley's offense will overwhelm him before the championship rounds arrive.
The deep waters, see what he's like in deep waters when I'm putting, bring the heat really, just bring the heat, bring what I can do, and it might not even get that far, so it's just, it's putting it all together, making sure this camp goes right.
Don Charles delivers a brutally direct message, stating that talk is meaningless once the bell rings, especially when facing Fabio Wardley. His warning suggests that Wardley intends to impose himself immediately on Daniel Dubois, particularly with a heavy, aggressive jab designed to control distance and momentum. The tone of the statement is almost intimidating, implying that Dubois may struggle if he attempts to trade early in the fight. Analysts believe this reflects the psychological warfare surrounding the matchup. The "Don't Blink" message emphasizes how quickly heavyweight fights can end when two knockout artists collide. If Wardley establishes rhythm early, Dubois could find himself under relentless pressure, where even a single defensive mistake might prove catastrophic.
Talk is cheap. Talk is cheap, but we're here to talk. We're here to sell the fight. And the reality is that when that bell goes,
sell it correctly.
When that bell goes, I promise you, Fabio Wardley is going to be in Daniel Dubois' face, and there's nothing that any of you guys are going to be able to do
horrible
to
jab
stop
hits his
what
teeth.
Fabio Wardley is going to do to him.
Big horrible jab.
If I can interject, I dare you to fight like that. Okay, I dare you to approach the fight like that. It'll be even over quicker than you can blink. Don't.
Frank Warren explains the meaning behind the phrase "don't blink," emphasizing the explosive nature of the fight between Daniel Dubois and Fabio Wardley. The message is simple but terrifying for defensive strategy. Once the bell rings, both fighters are expected to hunt for a knockout immediately. Experts believe this matchup is built on raw punching power rather than long technical exchanges. Dubois and Wardley are both recognized as brutal finishers, meaning the contest could end suddenly with one clean shot. The expectation of excitement is extremely high, but that also increases the danger level, because heavyweight knockout artists operating at maximum aggression rarely allow fights to develop into tactical battles.
It's called Don't Blink, and it's called Don't Blink for a reason, because the fight, as soon as that bell goes, they are going to be out and out trying to knock each other out. That's what they do, these two guys. They knock people out. They're brutal punchers, and you're going to see something extra exciting and special.
Ade Oladipo suggests that the winner of this heavyweight showdown should naturally progress toward facing Oleksandr Usyk, creating a clear championship pathway. However, the narrative depends heavily on whether Daniel Dubois or Fabio Wardley emerges victorious. If Dubois wins, some analysts believe another encounter with top-level opposition is inevitable, though many do not want to see a third meeting with Usyk. For Wardley, a victory could open a massive career-defining opportunity. The broader boxing landscape suggests the sport is searching for new heavyweight legitimacy, and this fight may determine who becomes the next major challenger capable of stepping into elite championship conversations.
I look forward to it. I think it's an incredible heavyweight fight. Obviously, no undercard announcers yet, but the winner of this fight will have to fight Alexander Usyk, surely. Insane that if it's Daniel Dubois, we don't want to see it a third time. If it's Fabio Wardley, then most definitely. If Daniel Dubois wins, it has to be Caballero. That's the route. If Wardley wins, Usyk. If Dubois wins, Caballero. I think that's the route. You take it, but...
The stakes in this fight between Daniel Dubois and Fabio Wardley go far beyond just winning or losing. For Dubois, it is about silencing critics who doubt his durability and mental consistency under pressure. For Wardley, it is the chance to prove that his championship reign is built on more than power alone. If Dubois wins, the heavyweight conversation shifts dramatically. If Wardley wins, his legitimacy as a dominant force becomes even stronger. Many fans believe this could end in a brutal knockout because both fighters are natural finishers. Now the real question is simple. Are you backing the raw knockout strength of Wardley, or do you believe Dubois will shock the division with his power? Drop your prediction in the comments below.